everybody, it's Laura Parke from PrivateScubaLessons.com, filming you live here today at the Miami Beach Marina. We're here today at the marina because we're going to go to a dive this afternoon out at the Neptune. And that's a video for another day, which is telling you exactly all the dive sites in Miami. But today, we're going to talk about the 3 B's. And this is something that I talk about to all of my clients before we go into the water. You always want to think about the 3 B's. The first B is the very most important, and that is your breathing. Breathing is 90% of scuba diving, and don't let anybody tell you that it's not. Breathing is what you have to do to sustain your life here on land, and breathing is what you have to do underneath the water for the same, except you're breathing out of a tube. And breathing from a tube is a little bit different, especially underneath the water, and it's something that you got to get used to. That's why we train everybody in the water, in a pool, in confined water, before we go underneath the water. And what should your breathing be like? Your breathing should be normal. Now, a lot of books say the breathing should be slow and deep, and I'm here to tell you that that's wrong. Because slow and deep is not a normal breath, and that is what I want. I want a normal breath. I want the breath that you breathe while you're sitting watching television, or the breath that you breathe while you're having dinner with a bunch of friends. The more normal you breathe underneath the water, the more normal you're going to feel underneath the water. And I can't tell you how huge that is, and how many people come to me and say, Laura, that is one of the best tips that you've ever given me. Breathing is everything in scuba diving, and just once again, the more normal that you breathe under the water, the better you're going to feel. The next B, and there's 3 B's, I forgot to mark that one number 1. The second B is your buoyancy. And buoyancy is what we are when we are neutral in the water. Neutral being floating just like the astronauts in space. You're not floating up to the surface, you're not sinking down to the bottom. The water column is just sustaining you and supporting you in the middle. And you're not treading water either. You can just hover, which is another term for buoyancy, right in the middle of the water column. You don't even need to move. But buoyancy and breathing are like Siamese twins. They're very connected. Because if I take in a deep breath, that's going to help elevate me to the surface. And again, breathing needs to be normal, so I don't take an exceptional deep breath in and start floating up. That's why breathing and buoyancy are so connected. And buoyancy is what you learn when we do the training. But this is just something that I remind all my people before we get into the water. Once you jump into the water and start your dive, you're going to let all the air out of your BCD. And then you ever so slowly sink down to the bottom, equalizing your ears as you go. And just before you crash and burn into the environmentally sensitive coral, you're going to let just a little squirt of air in, okay? And just to make yourself neutral. If you find you float up to the surface, you got to burp some air out. If you find you're still sinking down, you got to let a little in. And this is an adjustment that you make underneath the water a couple times during the dive. It sounds complicated, but it's very simple. And again, it's something that we train for in the pool, so you get a good idea of what that's like. The last B is being a buddy. Most people who've never gone scuba diving know what a buddy is. They know not to go by yourself. And when you pair yourself off with someone on a dive boat, you really should ask some questions. Not just take the guy who's ready to be your dive buddy, because you don't know if you all are on the same skill level. One could be hunting for fish, the other one could be hunting for pictures. And I can tell you, those two are diametrically opposed to each other. So please ask some questions about this person that you're going to be a dive buddy with. Ask them what their objective of the dive is. Is it to take pictures? Is it to find small things? Whatever it is, hopefully you guys are on the same page, and nothing personal. If you feel like the person that they want to stick you with is above your skill level, or if they just are not on the same page with what you want to do, just say, look, I think we should pair off with someone else. And that is never a problem, and it's not something that you should never take personal. The last thing I do before I ask people to jump in the water is to review hand signals. And that's a topic for a video of another day, but I promise you, if you remember to breathe slow and normal, if you remember your buoyancy, and you remember to be with your dive buddy, you are going to have a great dive. This is Laura Parke from Miami Beach Marina, privatescubalessons.com. If you want to call me directly, we welcome and invite you to call at 954-547-4818. If I'm under the water, I can't answer the phone, but I will call you when I surface. Hope to see you soon. Bye now.